Heading into December 30th, 2023, the one main question on every wrestling fan's mind was, who is the devil? Who is attacking MJF? Who's causing the lights to go out? Did Tony Khan forget to pay the goddamn lighting bill? Well, our long national nightmare is over. It's Adam Cole, baby. And you know, he probably looked around and realized Kyle O'Reilly's still out with a neck injury. I don't have a telegraph to contact Bobby Fish, who was around when dinosaurs roamed the earth. And actually, that's even kind of making him seem youthful. He was around when the Big Bang Theory, no, not that goddamn bullshit comedy sitcom that deserved to die in a fucking fire, but no, the actual, legit, good Big Bang Theory. They gave us the world and the universe as we know it today. He decided to look around and said, that's fine, I'll create a new Undisputed Era. With Bennett and Taven and Wardlow, you come along too, and Adam, fine, Roddy, you can come along too. Oh, Adam Cole, curse your sudden and honestly obvious betrayal. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW World's End 2023 from the Nassau Coliseum. And one quick mention, sad news in the professional wrestling world today. Killer Khan passed away at the age of 76. Worked with Andre the Giant, great goddamn feud they had in multiple territories, and his work in world class. What a heel. You love to hate him. A lot of his stuff was before my time, but honestly, such a legendary heel. Rest in peace, Killer Khan. You will absolutely be missed. Killer Khan, great goddamn name, too. So, there's another thing I will address when a particular match comes up as far as some news that was broken a little bit earlier today. Let's get to the kickoff matches, the 0 hour matches, whatever. I do have a question, though. Renee, RJ City, and Jeff Jarrett, this is the best they have for Jeff Jarrett. Get him away from Team TNA, have him team up with Lethal, and maybe you might actually have something. That being said, just get Karen out of there, and get the Giant out of there. Anyway, so Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale just shoved out in front of everybody, two Long Island natives, and you know what? Despite a few miscues and a few fumbles, and don't worry, this was not even the most egregious amount of fumbles that occurred in a particular match. They were overcome with emotion. They're two strong, talented women. Willow's very over. Statlander's very over. Good power for power exchanges. They took it seriously. There was a Cannonball DVD combo. That was nice for two. The apron bomb, I don't necessarily understand why, but nevertheless, apron bump in the first match, and not the only apron bump we got. We did get a 450 that missed. The Dr. Bomb attempts, there were a few miscues that were starting to get noticeable. It's like, okay, go for something else. It's starting to get a little flummoxed, but they still had the crowd with them because they're Long Island natives. Dr. Bomb eventually 1, 2, 3. I enjoyed it. They worked hard. You could tell it meant a lot to them to work in front of a big crowd in the Nassau Coliseum. That's hosted quite a few wrestling events since being built in 1972, or at least opening in 1972. According to WrestleTix, around 10,000 people. All right, Serena Diva's back, and in a straitjacket. That's kind of appropriate, given some of her decisions in life, but nevertheless, she's coming back. Did you miss her? I didn't. Even though she's talented, I didn't miss her. 20-man Battle Royal. Winner gets a TNT Championship shot. Okay, so most are already around the ring. They should have just gone full TNA and done a reverse Battle Royal. Okay, the Dark Order, just why? I'm not even saying release them, just why you still have this gimmick going. It's almost 2024. Danhausen's in it, so that automatically kills the credibility as far as wrestling. Even though I know some people like him, I don't wish anything bad on him. He's a gimmick, but he's not a wrestler. Kill Switch Saurus, that's the former Luchasaurus who's killed Switch. That's stupid. Archer. And, yeah, the overused Battle Royal concept, they buried the two big men under tables and everything and stuff like that. And at one point, Morrison, or Johnny TV, he really should just be John Morrison now, or at least something similar, but he got eliminated by Danhausen, so he might as well just ask Triple H if he can come back. Because you get eliminated by Danhausen, you're pretty much done. The Action Andretti guzzles water and, just chugs it down just really, really well. Reminds me of an X that I should call at some point. And Trent tosses Danhausen, and then Kill Switch Engage got the victory. And there we go. He has a TNT Championship shot he can cash in at any point. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen. Also, who decided to give Wheeler Yuta promo time? I just want to talk and yell at you. Alright, so a train horn. Wait, there's a train? Is Saraya, Defender of Abuserverse, involved? And Hook versus Wheeler Yuta happened in an FTW Championship match. Oh boy. Yay. Look, Wheeler's not bad, but he's not interesting. There was FTW painted on a couple of these things, and the Red Rum won it after a broken hockey stick was used. They were lucky Splinters weren't involved, and given what happened to CJ, we'll get to her in a bit, maybe don't get Splinters near you, because they can cause some issues. Yeah, Hook won. Video package on the big matches. Pyro, the set looks cool. So then we get the 8-man All-Star Continental Classic runner-up people. It's Claudio, it's Danielson, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia. Remember when Mark Briscoe could have actually meant something to the company, and now he's just there? Brody King, Jay Lethal, Zorro White, and Roosh. Referee Rick Knox. I don't know why they bothered having a referee at all, and given the fact that he never enforces tag rules and really just looks honestly like a vampire drained him of every fluid he's ever had, why do you have him there? All-Star 8-man tag, Matt Menard or Magic or whatever the hell he is on commentary. The crowd is into this. This is pretty much like New Japan doing the finals of the G1, having an undercard with a bunch of guys that were runners-up and then were involved in, you could do some different feuds. And the combined age of everybody in this was 287. That's a combined age, that's an average age of almost 36 years. And that's including Garcia, who is 25. Yeah. That being said, whatever. I mean, youth movement, I guess. Look, the match was fine. People were into Garcia. Garcia did eventually get a jackknife pin. It was all right. The crowd did pop for Danielson versus Jay White. There is no amount of effort they can put into Jay White to make him more interesting. Brody then knocks Menard, down briefly. So at least something good happened. So yeah, there you go. Miro versus Andrade El Olio in his last AEW match. And if it isn't, then I don't know really where the hell they're going with this. He's got to be finishing up soon. Rumor has it, as our Lord and Savior Adele said. CJ, she's back. She's got her finger wrapped up because it was really scary. Thankfully, she seems to be all right. It was fine. It went on way too long. It should have been half the time that it was because Miro was going to win. Eventually, CJ pulls Andrade El Olio's arms out, and then Game Over wins it. Andrade is gone. If he's not gone now, he's going to be gone very soon. Maybe actually, if his contract's up in January, hey, maybe he appears on a couple more Dynamites, gets beat by Miro, but I think he's gone. Does he go back to WWE? Does he just work in Mexico? I don't know. He got to punch out Sammy and get paid for it, I guess. Shivani joins commentary. Timeless Tony Storm with Luther versus Fluffer Riho. Okay. Yeah, that was fine. Hey, at least Tony won. It took her 12 minutes to beat Fluffer Riho. So there you go. Lexi is with Dante. Dante wants a championship match after winning a 6-man tag on Rampage that about 5 people watched. And Orange Cassidy shows up. They're going to have that match. I'm sorry, but if people think that I'm going to watch Orange Cassidy matches, I can't. I've seen everything I need to see. Enough. Justin Roberts takes over. So this dipped, because Dasha, has a great set of pipes. And he swerves when he drives, and he swerves when he drives, and he swerves when he drives. I can't do the dance, because I'm white and I have no goddamn rhythm. Keith Lee was not medically cleared. Keep that in mind. So Dustin Rhodes is the tag partner. Keith Lee stepped in. Apparently, Keith Lee tweeted out that he's had an injury he's been dealing with that's gotten progressively worse since Grand Slam 2022. Or All Out 2020. Or around that. Keith Lee had a health scare, fought through that, came back, and has done occasional good stuff in AEW. Just hasn't been given much of a chance to do anything. So a jump start before the bell. Nana pulls the cinder block out, and there's a stomp to the ankle on the cinder block. So Dustin is taken out by the medical staff. But the medical staff then leads him back because Dustin decides he wants to continue. Okay, they won't have Keith Lee wrestle, despite the fact, they won't have him wrestle because he's injured. Okay, that makes sense. I don't want him to get hurt more. But then they have Dustin do this. Kayfabe or not, it just makes the doctors look really stupid. This went on twice as long as it needed to. And look, Dustin, I think, is done in the ring, if not right after this, by Double or Nothing or something. Because he has said that 2023 or whatever this is his last year of wrestling. I hope maybe he can extend it to Double or Nothing and maybe have a better send-off than this. He did get a crossroads, but he did get hit with the stomp 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's get to the 8-man tag. And look, I'm just going to say now about the Jericho stuff. The Jericho stuff that this Nick Hausman, who I guess is a Chicago-based guy that broke a lot of the Punk news. I don't know who Nick Hausman is. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup if he had done anything to me or whatever. I don't know. I don't know who Nick Hausman is. I have no dog in this fight because dog fighting is stupid, and Michael Vick should have never been allowed in the goddamn league after that. Nevertheless, I don't know who Nick Hausman is. There was this video of him and WWE Creative-ish. Great account to follow, by the way. They were talking, and there was a snippet of this video where Hausman basically said there's a lot of stuff about Jericho, and the more you hear about Jericho and other stuff, it's a lot like, Harvey Weinstein made a lot of great movies, and stuff came out about him. And then, all this stuff coming out about Jericho. Now, apparently, this is what, the rumor innuendo is. Kylie Rae. Remember when Kylie Rae was in AEW and suddenly she left? And we weren't sure why. And Tony Khan did this thing where, he was asked at one of the first press conferences, and he's standing up there. It's like, oh, what happened? And she went out of her contract, and that was it. And he was kind of shifting around like he was lying about something, like he wasn't quite telling all the truth, like any of it. And it has come to light now, apparently, that rumor, allegedly, just saying right now, that Jericho may have made some advances or tried to get with Kylie against her will. Maybe coming up to his room, there would be other wrestlers there, and it was just him, and he tried to make advance at her. I'm not totally sure on all the details because you hear this stuff, it's hard to filter fact through fiction. Something may have happened. If something happened, then Hausman's in the clear. But I will say there were people attacking Hausman because apparently he's been beefing with Jericho. Now, if he used this to just win his beef, so to speak, that's ridiculous to use somebody's thing like that. However, Kylie Rae tweeted a heart emoji at him. Or, in response to this video and all that. So, that means that where there's smoke, there's fire. So, if Hausman happens to be fabricating any of this stuff, then he's going to have to lawyer up. I'm not going to have any dog in this fight as far as how he is perceived if something happened to Kylie Rae. If something did. And her tweeting that heart emoji and other stuff and certain things that have come out about Jericho over the past few years, whispers and innuendos and some stuff that maybe has just been squashed by NDAs. If Jericho really did do that and has been doing other stuff, then it's a gots-to-go situation because they fired Jimmy Havoc, they fired other people for other things. They've overlooked a whole lot of stuff, but I don't think Jericho would get fired unless Warner Bros. Discovery executives suddenly decided to fire up because, oh yeah, Don NDA Callis, Scarlet Fever Callis is there after he had, at the very least, harassed Scarlett Bordeaux. And that's why Scarlett and Killer / Karrion Kross can't talk about it. And that's not the only one that Callis has done. Callis has been that kind of pest. But geez, it's hard to believe that Jericho somebody whose wife was at the insurrection attempt on January 6, 2021 and donated tens of thousands of dollars to a disgraced former president that is credibly accused by multiple women of everything, and the same disgraced former president that said he wanted to sleep with his own goddamn daughter, that Jericho might actually be a fucking creep? Do tell. A guy that tweeted at Stephen P. New, call Stephen P. New, CM Punk and, Ace Steel's lawyer and a lot of stuff, tweeting at him, tweeting an actual lawyer. And all this stuff that he did, and now all of a sudden, on the day of the pay-per-view, this crap happened. So if nothing happened, or if, Hausman uses for his own clout, then clear with Kylie, that's bullshit. If Kylie gave him the clear, then sure, share it. Because it's her story to tell, and that's what it comes down to. And victims of assault should always be listened to. And if Jericho did do that, then he needs to go, and he needs to have his reputation drugged through the goddamn mud, and he needs to be fired. That's all I have to say right there. So let's get to the goddamn match, because this wasn't really memorable except for the crowd chants. So, they're singing Judas, at least some people were. The ones that were singing Judas, I mean, then again, you live on Long Island, so whatever. World's NDA sign, like 3 rows back, and then Jericho go away sign, and they were booing the fuck out of Jericho whenever he got in the ring. It was Sting, Darby, Sammy, and the Ayatollah of Non-Disclosure. Shout out to the great Brian Last for that one. Versus Starks, Bog Bill, Hobbs, and Takeshita. Massive boos whenever Jericho got in. Sweet goddamn Christ. We won Sting chants. There were NDA chants. There were Kylie Ray chants. There were just insane chants at Jericho. And he deserved every bit of it. This is Sting's last time wrestling in New York, and it got overshadowed by a guy that couldn't keep it in his goddamn pants. And is married, by the way, to a crackpot that's also a goddamn crackpot and a piece of shit. And I really hope his kids have a better education than, you know, whatever education Jericho and his stupid twat wife got. But that being said, he absolutely deserved every bit of these, and he really looked rattled. He did. He did not look very happy. It looked like Tony was like, you're going to go out for this, and I'm probably going to suspend you. I'm not listening to the scrum. I don't goddamn know, because I can't listen to that shit. But yeah, Kylie Ray chants. Sting was stumbling, because Sting is 64 years old with spinal stenosis. Callis tries to run in, trying to take advantage of the situation, as Don Callis does. And fuck you, Callis chants, and Starks flipped off Jericho at one point. A 450 from Sammy pinned Starks. You couldn't just beat Bog with a whole bunch of finishes and then pin him? Really? Thank you, Sting chants. That was great. I really, really, really hope that if this stuff with Jericho is true, that he is gone. Because they need to clean house on that. They need to clean house. This is not a WWE versus AEW thing. This kind of shit needs... It's a clean house situation. You got to get rid of people like this. You have to get roid of people like this. So, let's get to Julia Hart versus Abaddon. TBS Championship match. House rules. Rope breaks, no rope breaks, but biting is legal. This is the second most amount of biting and choking I've seen involving 2 goth women. Okay, 1 goth woman, 1 goth non-binary. On camera. Always delete your search history. This is spooky. I mean, there was at least a pace to this. Granted, this probably could have been on Dynamite or Collision, but I will give them credit for trying. And at least Abaddon has improved their work. And then, so Sky comes in and, you know, pushes Abaddon, and gets under the ring. Abaddon pulls Sky Blue out, and this got a little messy on the outside, around the outside. And then a moonsault, sort of. 1, 2, 3. Julia Hart wins. Okay. Copeland took on Cage with the Waynes. No DQ TNT Championship match. Jumpstart Copeland in his Mania 22 attire. And at one point, after drinking a beer that is very unsanitary, a fan's beer, Copeland is beating up Christian, and Nigel says, "You sick son of a," and then he says, "Shut up, Nigel." "Yes, sir." That was funny. That was funny shit. The crowd woke up during this. I will say that. That being said, entrances to Aftermath, 35 minutes. You could have cut 10 minutes out of this. AEW's got to show restraint with this. They could have cut a couple matches down from this, even though I'm glad people are getting pay-per-view payouts, and just maybe giving them a little TV bonus or something. But I guess they wanted to give them the whole enchilada and a 5-course meal. So into the crowd, Copeland dives. A spear in the corner, but he misses. A stomp on the steps, that's on the bad neck. 2 count. Edge got busted above the eye. Ow, my eye, I'm not supposed to get steel steps on it. And then at one point, you know, Copeland, try not to say Edge, puts the rod in Christian's mouth like he did in his, you know, in that feud with, well, like a couple feuds that he had in WWE. And let me tell you right now, when a 6'4" or 250-pound Canadian man puts a rod in your mouth, you are going to feel it, whether you want to or not. I will be taking no further questions without my lawyer being present. So, Copeland, at one point on a sunset flip off a ladder, almost hit the back of his neck on like the legs of a chair that was laying. That was close. He didn't. He knows his body better than anybody else. That worried me. So, Then we get two tables out. We get a ladder. We have a ladder there. We want fire. Shayna stops a 3 count. Sort of. Shayna Wayne, that is. And then Nick Wayne's out there. They have this lighter fluid. They're lighting this table, but the table flame goes out because of the way that stuff burns. They're trying to, it's like it just goes out after a bit. So Copeland lights it again and power bombs Nick Wayne, and Nick Wayne basically catches most of his ass on fire. Yes, the way it was done, I didn't want him to hit flush, but ow. Nick Wayne is willing to be a crash test dummy. Yeah, that looked kind of rough. That looked really, really rough, actually. I hope he's all right because he legit looked rocked, and Shayna was checking out. So I hope he's all right. The talented young man, I really don't want to see that kind of bump be what sets back his career. So, then we get Copeland winning. Copeland wins. Okay, yay. He won. He won through, crazy no DQ means. And then is holding up the championship. Then Kill Switchosaurus shows up and is going to cash in the contract and then hands it to Christian. He's conflicted. Oh, no. And then Christian hits a spear, 1, 2, 3. Does Copeland need a championship? No. Are they going to build somebody up properly to beat Christian for the championship? Probably not. But, really at this point, does Copeland need a championship in AEW? No. It is what it is. He won championships in WCW, WWE, because they had the WCW invasion stuff there. And also in AEW, even if it was only for a couple minutes. We get a screw job between 2 Canadians in Nassau. Brett gave it a 4 out of 10. Danielson was on commentary. Kingston and Moxley make their entrances. Moxley and Kingston, Triple Crown Continental Classic winner final match thing where they chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped and chopped. Chop, 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 chop. And Kingston won eventually. It's not that I had anything against the match. The crowd was very much into it, but this style and just the chops, and it eventually comes to where I just zone out. I just zone out. They hit each other hard. They did some good stuff. And when Kingston won, it was a big pop. That was pretty good. I really did enjoy that. There were "You Deserve a Chance." There was a hug and a show of respect. I guess there was a wrestler named Mad Kurt that passed away that meant something to Eddie. I have no idea who Mad Kurt is. I saw people tweeting about him. I'm not familiar with him. I'm not knocking him. If he meant a lot to people, including Eddie and other people in the business, great. May he rest in peace. But it meant a lot to Eddie. He got his All Japan dream of winning the Triple Crown. So, Samoa Joe enters to a pop. And then we get some New York citizens, including a brunette that got banged repeatedly for like 5 hours in the back of a car by MJF. They have the scars. He's our scumbag. Da da da. And MJF comes out in the King of Long Island robe. And then suddenly the music of Adam Cole, baby, comes on. And Cole is there in the flesh with a busted ankle, limping along. Joe versus MJF, AEW World Title match. And MJF was trying to be a bit more of a heel and everything, but then, Joe was just shutting him down by even being more of a dickish heel because he was poking him in the eye and stuff like that. But Joe just decided to beat the shit out of his shoulder. Just beat the absolute total motherfucking shit out of his shoulder. And apparently, after there was an apron muscle buster. Why? I don't understand it. Joe was working safe, but he was working snug. There were 9 punches and then the bite, and then he eventually got a heat seeker for 2. There was the armbar, fuck you, Joe chance. And then a low blow after a ref bump where the people were groaning. There was a lift in F5 by MJF. Brock Lesnar return confirmed. I kid, of course. That would be hilarious. And then this Cole tries to ham the ring. That doesn't necessarily work. All this stuff's going on. It's just, oh my God, he couldn't quite get it. And then there was a there was a choke. And Joe even blocked his face so MJF couldn't hit him with the ring. And then a drop for 1, a drop for 2, and then the arm drops for 3. And it's like the end of Starrcade 96 where everybody's confused, like, what? Wait, MJF lost? Samoa Joe won. He's a new world champion. That's good. That's very good. Samoa Joe, new world champion. He doesn't look like an idiot losing the TV or vacating the TV championship after 500 some odd days. It is what it is. He's a world champion. He's a world champion that we deserve for now until Swerve beats him at either Revolution or Double or Nothing. I still think they're probably going to stretch it out to Double or Nothing because they're probably going to go Hangman, Swerve 3 at Revolution. But Joe leaves. Joe leaves. So yeah, new champion, he leaves, and then Cole tries to console MJF. There are bullshit chants because people are like, what the fuck? What kind of finish was that? That was weird. MJF has been really beat up. I mean, you can tell. And I mean, they're selling. It wasn't just selling. He was beat up. And then suddenly the goons show up, and then MJF and Cole are like, hit me, no, don't you hit him, and this kind of stuff. And one of them turns to hit, and then the lights go out, and oh no, the devil's going to be here. And then suddenly the chair is sat down, and Cole's there. Everybody pulls off their goddamn hoods. It's Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Wardlow, and Roderick Strong. And then they beat him up. Okay, if this is the way to write MJF off so he can get surgery and take a much needed rest, good. Because you need to have Cole heal up. Ironic considering he, I guess, turned heel. I guess. All of MJF's heel tactics and everything, all the bullshit that he did, finally came home to roost, even though he was our scumbag. All that stuff finally caught up with him. And he was out of tricks. The devil was out of tricks. Because he got outplayed by another devil. I don't know what this means for me reviewing AEW weekly programming going forward. I'll do what I can, guys. I hope that they take a pay-per-view break until Revolution, and I really hope that they only maybe do 6 pay-per-views a year, because if they try to do as many as they did between the end of August and now, they're going to be running into some problems, because they've kind of stagnated. Maybe this will be interesting, but it just feels like trying to recreate another Undisputed Era, and I don't know. At least it wasn't Tony Khan as the devil. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.